Sawyer sees the writing on the wall, Locke accepts his condition, and Claire returns in rare form. All that and more on today's official Lost audio podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the official Lost audio podcast. We're here today with executive producers Damon, Lindelof, and Carlton, Cuse to talk about The Substitute and preview our upcoming episode entitled Lighthouse, in which Hurley must convince Jack to accompany him on an unspecified mission, and Jen stumbles across an old friend. Of course, we all know who that old friend is, feral Claire. Damon and Carlton will have more on her in just a minute. But first, a reminder that if you aren't getting enough of a Lost fix, to check out Lost Tracks on iTunes. It's a 7-track digital download individually titled by character, Kate, Sawyer, Locke, Hurley, etc. And it allows you to get inside the minds of the character and find out what inspires and motivates them. All that at iTunes. You can also spend your spare time crafting queries, emails, concerns, and other such musings for Damon and Carlton to possibly read on the podcast. You can send all those to lostfanquestions@abc.com, all one word. Just make sure you check out the legalese on the back end of this podcast before sending your email. Now, though, here are Damon and Carlton.
Good morning, Carlton.
How you doing today?
Oh, man, I'm just spectacular.
Well,
really.
That's fantastic. Well, it's the morning after The Substitute. And
what is that? Oh,
the episode of Lost
right.
that was on last night.
Yes, exactly. And we're doing a podcast. Pardon us for being a little bleary-eyed. We are in what we affectionately refer to...
Hell?
Hell, yes.
We have been writing until the wee hours of most nights.
Yes, exactly.
What constitutes a wee hour? When do you get to a wee hour?
It is an hour, Carlton, when you actually start shrinking. That is why it's called the wee hour.
Okay.
So if you were to put a marking on your wall, somewhere between around 2:30 a.m. and 3:30 a.m., your body weight reduces as a result of losing water. But by the way, we should mention that Chris is not here. If you hear laughter, that's because people are actually amused.
We've brought in some substitute people who have been hired strictly to laugh.
Yes.
We actually picked them up in front of a local warehouse construction company store.
Exactly. We pulled up outside. We said, "Do you speak English?" They said, "No." We
No,
said,
they went,
we said, "We got a podcast for you."
Okay. But,
So
Chris, our producer, and his lovely wife Rachel just gave birth to a lovely baby,
Chloe, and Chris didn't give birth to
well,
her.
it was a joint effort.
He was there.
I'm going to just say that
Yes.
he was involved in the process.
So
I don't want to go
congratulations.
any further with that. The rest of that stays in the mystery category.
Congratulations, Chris and Rachel.
And Chloe.
And welcome, Chloe. If you have any questions, Chloe, you can send them here to the podcast.
All right, let's do a quick rehash of The Substitute, then let's get on to a little prehash of next week's episode, which is called Lighthouse.
Right, okay, so here's something that I actually wanted to bring up with you, Carlton.
Yep.
There has been a lot of... I see... People are having a hard time deciding what to call Locke now. They don't know whether to call him the Loch Ness Monster, Smock, some people are calling him. I prefer Unlock, but we actually had this debate in the writer's room.
And we just call him Locke.
We just call him Locke.
I mean, he basically he's taken the place of Locke, but it's still Terry O'Quinn, and he still looks like Locke, so we just refer to him as Locke.
Right.
So,
or the artist formerly known as Locke.
Locke, exactly. Or we have a symbol, but we can't actually show you the symbol on the radio.
But you can call him whatever you like.
Is this technically radio? No, it's not really. It's
no,
audio.
It's not even
on the audio.
Remotely radio. But when we're referring to the character of Locke, if we're talking about him on the island, obviously it is the smoke monster / man in black, whatever had
Smock.
Yeah. I don't want to call it smock.
No, smock's not good.
Why are you wearing a smock right now, Carlton? Are you going to do any pottery?
I just want to make sure that you don't get any spit on me during this podcast.
All right. Fair enough. Last night in The Substitute, a couple things have come up. There's two things people are really talking about.
I would say the numbers would be one, wouldn't you?
I would, and clearly we've talked about the numbers in great length in the past. We've kind of gone on record as saying, look, we're never going to be able to explain why these particular numbers. We've gone on about the Valenzetti equation, but at least now we've revealed that these numbers correspond to some of our passengers.
That's right, and I think for us again, this is the classic example of how we in the show are hoping to kind of point out connections and have you understand a little bit about the significance of things, but to actually elementally explain the mystery of things is an impossible task.
But possible that the numbers don't end here? Maybe just a little bit more, Carlton?
I'd say we can give them a little bit more. I'd say there might be a little bit more pretty soon.
Will they have to wait till the finale?
No. They will not have to wait till the finale to get a little bit more.
I have to start listening to this podcast.
You should. You
very
learn a lot. So next week, in fact, we have an episode called Lighthouse.
Oh!
And I have
But it's not a literal lighthouse, right? It's one of those metaphorical titles.
I hope it's one of those titles that maybe has multiple meanings.
Okay.
But I have actually a question for you, which is sort of, I've been witnessing in the Flash Sideways that the characters from the island, they've now met in new and different ways.
Sure.
Getting, as 815 landed in Los Angeles. Is this going to be kind of a continuing theme, Damon? Are there going to be sort of interesting crosses that bring our characters together in new and different and potentially exciting ways?
Is that a motif? Well, Carlton, I think what you're really asking is, what is the point of the Flash Sideways? And obviously, this is sort of a very polarizing and ongoing debate in the fan community. It's not so much whether you like them or not. It's, are they going to lead us anywhere? What is the purpose of this? And clearly, you've now illuminated, certainly one of the purposes appears to be that these characters are running into each other and perhaps helping each other. What we like about The Substitute, particularly, which was written by Elizabeth Sarnoff and Melinda Sue Taylor, the great writers on the show, and Liz is also actually an EP, is that there are a number of incidents over the course of that episode where Locke is actually helped by other characters. Hurley helps him when he gets fired by Randy, gives him a new job. Rose straightens him out when he gets to the temp agency.
I really enjoyed seeing Rose again, by the way. That was great.
You can never have too much Rose.
Yeah.
And so that's sort of the ongoing motif. Where are we actually going with these sideways? Well,
to be determined.
To be determined. But clearly we're now hinting at more significant changes. For Locke and Helen were most definitely not together the last time we saw them.
Yeah, I think it was nice to see them happy together, actually.
Oh, wow. I hope it lasts.
All right. Is there anything else we're going to say about Lighthouse, or are we moving on?
I do want to say this. As much as I enjoyed last night's episode, I am dying to see Claire again. How long do I have to wait, Carlton?
You will not have to wait very long at all, in fact. Claire is actually kind of one of my favorite characters this season. The fact that she's kind of had 3 years to go a little Borneo on the island is kind of one of my favorite storylines, and she's got some cool stuff coming up.
I like that phrase, going Borneo.
Yeah. I don't know. I have no idea what that means, but I like it myself.
All right, on to questions.
Here's your questions.
Thank you, Karen and Amy and John.
Thank you. All right, here's something you can just clear up. We don't just clear this up, okay?
This whatever you're about to ask will never be asked again. I'm going to give you a very definitive answer.
Mal asked this question,
okay.
Mal Smith, and in this week's Flash Sideways, the date on Claire's ultrasound was October 22nd, 2004. Can you confirm or deny that this was, in fact, the new date of Oceanic Flight 815 arrival, or was this, in fact, just a prop error?
This in the honesty column was an error, but in the let's pretend that everything we do is intentional column, the ultrasound was malfunctioning, Carlton. The ultrasound was malfunctioning.
That's the fantastic save.
Oceanic still lands on September 22nd, 2004.
It was actually just, unfortunately, a prop error. By the way, there's a P.S. to Mal's question here, which is, I think the new Claire we see on the island should be referred to as Claire So.
Oh! Clever.
Like Claire
Rousseau.
And Rousseau. That's good. I like that. Mal, you rock.
Okay.
You're up, Damon.
This question, and Carlton, I'm going to go on record here and say that your answer to this question is going to impact someone's life in a very profound and lasting way. So think before you respond. This is sent from Sunny and Christine in South San Francisco, California. The question. My wife and I just welcomed our son into this world, and we're deciding between the names Jack and Desmond. Now, seeing as how we want our baby to have a bright and shiny future, we want to make sure that whomever we name him after has the aforementioned fortunate future. Rock on. Carlton, what should they name their son? They're waiting. This infant is in a hospital. It has no name. It is nameless.
Goodness. Wow. Okay. This is the part where I'm thinking, which is sort of an unusual thing for me to do before I respond. So yes, I would go with Desmond. I think that, as much as Jack is a wonderful character on our show, he's kind of a tortured guy, and I think Desmond generally is just kind of a happier disposition, and I don't know, just the name Desmond to me. Jack's kind of a cool name, but Desmond, I don't know. There's just a little more something, the je ne sais quoi there that I like.
I just hope he doesn't come home with any nosebleeds.
Do we have a last name? No, we probably shouldn't say that. So
they didn't put a last name.
Okay.
But
you kind of want to know how it goes with the last name.
So
too.
You just named a child, Carlton. Congratulations. By the way, if neither Jack nor Desmond works for you, Darlton is also totally horrible idea.
Actually, here's a new one: Cardam.
Oh, all right.
So you could also name your child Cardam.
Yeah, great. Okay, that's good. It is a little. At least I get 3 letters in that one.
Or as I start this next question, this is completely coincidental. This next question starts Konnichiwa Damn Car.
Oh wow. Okay.
Which you would like better because you get to be first in that scenario.
No, I get 3 letters. I've always I don't mind Cardam. All I've wanted is letter equality.
Yeah. Well, you have a few more, but you do have the N letters are also your letters too. The O-N.
Well.
Okay, here we go. Konnichiwa, damn car. My wife and I are big fans. I often use clips from Lost in my English classes to spark students' interest in learning a foreign language. This means...
Unfortunately, I am not an English teacher, nor am I licensed.
This means there's a small town in the mountains of Japan where the most prevalent English phrase is, "What's the smoke monster?" At long last, this is from Greg and Haruka Warner, who live in Ono City in Fukui, I can't pronounce that, Japan. I'm sure I did a bad job of that. At long last, a Japanese character that doesn't pass Hurley at the airport or get struck by a meteorite. I think actually, technically, you get struck by a meteor, and then once it's actually struck you, then it's a meteorite. It has to be sort of inert on the ground to be a meteorite.
That must have been a very awkward eulogy at Tricia Tanaka's funeral when they accidentally called it a meteor. But I'm glad you cleared it up, Carlton.
Awesome. I happen to live in Fukui Prefecture, which is where the Ihiji Temple is located, a temple founded by the historical figure Dogen Zenji. Curious, I checked Dogen's profile, and it turns out he perished in 1253 on September 22nd, a date any Lost fan should recognize. Was this planned or just a coincidence? Thank you for all your hard work throughout this year on the program. Greg and Haruka.
This is one of those amazing moments where we do all this no one will ever figure this out, and lo and behold, someone has found it. And we'll tell you something else. True. If you trek to that temple, you will find an ultrasound machine there. No, it's completely coincidental, but awesome.
No, I mean the origin of Dogen Zenji is intentional.
Yes.
The fact that his date of death was September 22nd was coincidental.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
Or was it? It was certainly not intentional by our part.
We had nothing to do with him dying that day, okay?
Okay. So here we go. This is
right.
the one we've been waiting for.
Okay.
I've got a Darlton/damn-car/Carmen. More and more, I've been thinking that you guys have pulled a fast one on us all. And this season, not season 7, is the zombie season. An infection that slowly turns people evil sounds like zombies to me. I know Saeed told Hurley he wasn't a zombie, but isn't that just the kind of thing a zombie would say? I'm on to you guys, and that is from Clifton Satterfield.
Clifton, you are on to us. I mean, honestly, we feel like we found a way to sort of have our cake and eat it too, and
or have our brains and eat them too.
Have our brains and eat them too.
Yes.
That that if we can't do the zombie season, it's the 7th season of Lost. At least Saeed can, at best case, resemble a zombie for a number of episodes. We decided that it would probably be outside the bandwidth of the show to go as far as to have him, sort of eating human flesh, or to take it to a further extent, like shooting lasers out of his eyes or something like that.
Zombies do not shoot lasers out of
but
their
I'm just
eyes.
saying.
Only in
I'm
your
just
weird
saying that in
fantasies.
my version they would. But it's
fact
still been
that-
fun to write sort of zombie-esque version, of Saeed, hasn't it, Damon?
The fact that that we have now created the question, is he or isn't he a zombie? The sort of idea that people are employing their zombie dar to detect whether or not what are signs of undeadness is pretty exciting for us, and more to come.
More to come, exactly.
The jury's still out on Saeed.
The zombie journey continues. All right, I have one final question for you, Damon.
Yep.
And this is from Derek Raffelt. Derek's question is, if you had to choose which reality to live in, Damon, Island 2007 or LA Space X 2004, which would it be and why? Would you choose the seemingly safe yet interesting world, devoid of magical islands? Or would you choose a reality full of mystery, redemption, and forces bigger than ourselves? Please answer my question to make my wish come true. Thank you again, from Derek.
That's a great question, Derek. And I think, personally speaking, I would pick the island.
Interesting.
The island's just a little bit more exciting. But once again, Derek, I must point out, you cannot treat these two things as entirely separate entities. They are not alternate timelines. It is.
I think it's more interesting. What if you got attacked by the smoke monster, Damon?
I'm not really concerned about that anymore. He seems a very level-headed and rational fellow. For example, Sawyer almost fell to his death from the cliffs. Smoke monster saved him.
Okay, well, personally, I'm going with the nice LA Space X.
Well,
I'd like to just, I can hang out. I'd like to, just be kind of in a nice, safe environment where there's like coffee shops and restaurants and cars.
Well, I
and
hope
things like that.
I hope you enjoy doing the podcast by yourself in the other timeline.
Well, no, untrue. Because if the timelines are related, can't we then still do the podcasts?
Wow, my brain hurts.
Okay.
Which leads me to my final question. Right. Carlton, this one is from Smokey D in Chicago. Probably not his real name. Hey, Damon. Hey, Carlton. Spectacular job on LAX 1 and 2. But I have a foot question.
Uh-oh.
And I have to be honest with you, Carlton. I don't know the answer to this, and maybe you won't either, but I have to ask.
Okay.
We've been looking at the foot of the statue now ever since Live Together, Die Alone. And the foot that Jin's son Saeed saw was a left foot. And the foot we saw underwater in LAX was the left foot as well. But when you show us the foot on the plinth in the distance when Son and Frank and Ben are sort of fighting in LAX, it appears to be the right foot. Is this on purpose? Continuity gone awry? Do I have it wrong? Thanks, guys. Love the show. Season 6 looks awesome.
Wow.
Is this possible, Carlton?
That we got off on the wrong foot to the season?
Oh,
sorry.
You did not disappoint me.
Wow.
You did not disappoint me. That was like I alley-ooped and you were there to
boom, put
slam
the
it
ball in the hoop.
Ladies and gentlemen, Carlton and I do not rehearse the podcast. We just wanted to
Shockingly.
know that happened live.
Shockingly.
So that's all we got.
Okay, that's all we have for this week. But we hope you continue to enjoy the episodes. We have some fun stuff coming up.
Yeah, maybe we'll drop in again somewhere in the neighborhood between sort of 6 and 7.
We are literally in the middle of trying to work out the last
trying to end the
3
series.
hours of the series,
Yes.
and we're working on the story and script construction for those episodes. So we actually are simultaneously working on like 10 different episodes
Boo-hoo,
right now.
Carlton.
No, it's not. I mean, it's
Joking.
exciting. It's exciting. But while you're waiting for the next podcast, you can find us on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm Damon Lindelof.
And I'm Carlton Cuse.
And we are...
we are...
idiots. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, and namaste.
Bye-bye.
That's it for this podcast. Lighthouse airs Tuesday, February 23rd from 10 to 11 p.m. only on ABC. And don't forget that by submitting your questions, you agree to ABC's terms of use, and you agree to have your name, city, state, and question included in this podcast in perpetuity without compensation. You must be 18 years or older to send email to abc.com. Until next time, namaste.